Everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching Hawkeye episode 6, the season finale of the Hawkeye TV show. This is going to be a full spoiler review, so let's just go ahead and just jump right into it. This episode is an hour long, I think the longest episode by far, I think, and a lot of stuff happens, so I'm going to not go beat by beat everything that happened. Let's just try and break down like the moments I liked and some character reveals and some interesting things. So first, Kingpin. We got that giant reveal of Vincent D'Onofrio coming back as Kingpin last episode, and it was a rumor going around for a while, and it finally happened. And honestly, I really enjoyed everything they did with him, even this thing at the end. We'll get to it, but yeah, first, he has a conversation with Kate's mom, and we get basically what Kate's mom's deal is. So essentially, her husband owed a whole bunch of money to the Kingpin, and then he died, and so she's been using her company in some way, they don't really clarify, to basically work with the Kingpin and make him money. I assume it has something to do with that Sloan corporation that is a front for the tracksuit mafia guys that she ended up framing Jack for. So apparently Jack, he had nothing to do with any of this, at least as far as we can tell. She was the one, Kate's mom is the one who murdered that old man, whatever his name was, Jack's like uncle or something, in the first episode. So yeah, basically she murdered the old man. She framed Jack for being involved with this Sloan company, and now she wants out. Kate's mom wants out because her daughter's in danger. And of course, if you know anything about the mob, there is no getting out. So Kingpin's like, okay, sure, go ahead and whatever blackmail you got, okay. And as soon as she leaves the room, it's like, okay, so we're gonna have to kill Kate's mom, so she's gonna have to die now. So that's like the first big thing, okay? And basically what this sets up is that, like, of course now Kate knows that her mom is a bad guy, essentially. And to be honest, I kind of wish we got more from the mom. Like, there was a bigger reveal. I guess I was just expecting this to be like, oh, she's actually this character, or oh, she's really good with swords or something, but like, really that's it. She owed money because the husband was in debt, and she was just working for the Kingpin, and not even entirely clear as to how exactly she was working for Kingpin. She just kind of was. So there's still a lot of questions there, and they don't really go into it. And by the way, this episode has gotten pretty much a mixed reaction online. I think I liked it more than I've seen a lot of other people be really negative, which is surprising. I think, I don't know, I think some people go into these shows with much higher expectations than they should, or maybe I just have really low expectations to begin with. I'm not sure which one it is, but in any case, we're left with a lot of questions regarding Kate's mom and her relationship to the Kingpin and how exactly that all worked. But by the end of the episode, Kate ends up getting her mom arrested anyways, basically doing the right thing, doing the hero thing. And she tries to like guilt trip Kate, like, oh, is this what heroes do, get their moms arrested on Christmas? I'm like, yeah, lady, you murdered a guy, sorry. And her whole motivation was just that she didn't want Kate to grow up poor, which is like, okay, I get that, but I don't know. I wish there was more here, because she's clearly not a good person. Like, she is a murderer and she was acting shady this entire time, but also it's like, I don't know. I guess I just expected a little bit more from her, like who she was supposed to be, but whatever. Anyways, so this was all gonna happen at, Kingpin was gonna try and kill her mom at this big Christmas party, which we've been hearing about the entire show. And while this is all going down, basically they, Kate and Clint made a bunch of trick arrows, even though they said they couldn't, right? I'm pretty sure earlier, like in episode 3, they said they were not able to make more because they had to go on like a special part of the arrow or something, and they ran out of those. But now it seems like they can. I'm not sure. Maybe I just misunderstood. I don't know. But anyways, they have like a little montage where they're making all these new trick arrows, which they do have a scene where they're taking out a bunch of tracksuit guys and they use all these different trick arrows. And there's a moment where they use another pim arrow that shrinks a car full of guys, and then an owl takes off with them, which I thought that was really funny. That was like the best joke in the whole episode, and it worked really well. So I thought that was hilarious, you know. It was like dark humor, but it works. It was pretty funny. So yeah, while all this is going down, Yelena shows up again, and even though she helped Kate out by basically saying, okay, I found out who hired me, it's your mom, she's also still carrying out the job, which, you know, again, I think this is another criticism of the show that I have, is like, she, you know, if she's out there for revenge because she thinks Clint was involved with Natasha's death, or, you know, she was just told that he was, and yet she's still there for the job, I don't know. It seems kind of weird that they make it seem as though she did not start going after Clint until she was hired to do so, even though this is a very personal mission for her. So I don't know, that seems a little strange. And also, like, they have a really great moment between her and Clint, and that moment is great, but it also kind of, for me, it compounded the fact that, like, why was she so willing to believe the people wanting to kill Hawkeye? Why was she so willing to believe them that oh, Clint's the reason that she's dead somehow? You know, it's like, was she told us a whole story, like details, or, you know, she was so like strongly believing it. And I do like the moment where Clint like repeats the Black Widow song, the whistling song that they did as kids. That was a really cool tie-in to the Black Widow movie, and I was like, okay, it feels like that whole thing went full circle, and that was a really good payoff. But I am still like, why did Yelena believe them in the first place? Like, it feels like she would have asked a lot more questions, right? Like, wouldn't they have needed some more proof that Clint was responsible? But whatever. Okay, you know. And again, I feel like a lot of people are negative on this episode. I'm not really that negative, even though it kind of sounds like I am. You know, but this episode did have a lot of, like, you know, the show entirely, I think, had a lot of, like, okay, I guess this is just, it is what it is, you know? We want Yelena to go after Clint. Why does she believe these guys that hired her? Why is she only just now going after him? Just because, I guess, you know. I mean, the snap ended supposedly like a full year earlier, right? So whatever. Okay. Anyways, so, you know, Yelena and Kate have a lot of really great moments, actually. She's trying to stop her from getting to Clint, and they have this whole scene where they're going through the building, and they're like joking around but also fighting each other at the same time. And you know, Kate is kind of hilariously outmatched when she's trying to fight Yelena. So there's just a lot of great scenes there. They have really great chemistry, so I hope that those two get like a superhero team up where they, you know, I want those two to have their own show. That's what I want. I think that would work really well. You know, they pair them together, let them go on an adventure. That was really funny. Their scenes are really great. And yeah, so just, you know, Kate and Clint face off with a bunch of other guys. They face off with a bunch of other guys using all the trick arrows. The owl takes that one bus away. What else? Echo. What's her name? Maya. So she had a scene earlier with the Kingpin, in, you know, one of the Kingpin's few scenes, basically talking about how, like, sorry, I went out for revenge against Ronin. My bad. I'm gonna just lay low for a while. I'm gonna take a couple days break. And Kingpin kind of, it seems like he knows that she's begun to suspect, you know, that he had something to do with her father's death, right? So he's like, okay, make sure Maya stays out of this, you know, and if she shows up, basically kill her. So when she, of course, does show up and she confronts Kazi, who, you know, I think Kazi is another kind of criticism I have of this show, is that, like, Kazi is, in this show, as far as I'm aware of him, he's just like the second, you know, he's just like the second hand guy, right? Like, he's not a, you know, he's not like a normal thug, but he's not the one in charge either. He's just like one of the guys, you know. He seems to be the one that has more of a personal relationship with Maya, but like we don't know much about him. And then he gets in this fight with Maya and then he dies, right? So it does seem like, okay, I guess that's it for Kazi. He was given a lot of attention, a lot of screen time, but I don't care about Kazi at all, not even like a little bit, you know. So it was just really weird, and I think that also has to do with this show just not having that many episodes. Maybe there was supposed to be a lot more time spent with this Kazi character and we were supposed to care for different reasons, but honestly I just didn't. It felt like Maya and Kazi had this whole history that we got a couple glimpses of, but we were never shown like what all went on, and then he died. So, you know, and the same thing with Kingpin. Maya and Kingpin have this whole history, and we got like a little glimpse of that when she was a kid, right? Like literally a small glimpse. And then they have this big standoff. So, you know, first Kingpin fights Kate. They fight in a toy store. You know, he goes after her mom, and by the way, the Kingpin's like ripping cart doors off and throwing Kate through walls and all kinds of stuff, right? So he's crazy powerful. He's taking arrows to the chest, you know, not even a big deal. He seems much more powerful than he did in the Netflix shows, I think, you know. So I think this is definitely like he's got the comic book type strength, which I need to Google what Kingpin's deal is. I know that he's always been like kind of superhumanly strong and durable and stuff. I don't know if it's ever been explicitly said why. I don't know if he has a serum in him or if he's like maybe some kind of really mutant or something. But Kingpin's always been a little bit above average when it comes to durability and strength. You know, he's able to like just do crazy feats. But in any case, he beats up Kate pretty badly, and then he gets exploded by a bunch of trick arrows that had spilled on the floor, and she manages to activate all of them, and there's this big explosion that he walks away from, and then he gets confronted by Maya, who then shoots him in the head or the face, but off screen, which, of course, you know, look, for me, when I saw that, like, okay, she's about to shoot him, and then the camera pans away, and then you hear a gunshot, and then you hear like a thud, like a body fell on the ground. For me, you know, that's television, and that's cinematic code for, oh, hey, we didn't show you it happening, which means there's probably more to this. Like, that is a classic trick that has been used many, many, many times. In fact, as early as like the most recent example I could think of is Squid Game. The Netflix show Squid Game. There's literally a very similar scene where this old man who you've been with the whole show is, you know, spoiler alert for Squid Game, by the way. This old man you've been with for the whole show, he's about to get shot, and so you see the gun get drawn on him, and then the camera pans away as the main character leaves, and so you don't see it happen, but you hear a gunshot. And you're like, oh no, the old man died. And then of course, again, spoilers, he ends up not being dead. And it's a big, huge twist. And he's like, oh, he's alive the whole time. This is a classic thing that has happened dozens and dozens of times on TV shows and movies, right? If you don't see it happen, it probably didn't really happen. So, you know, when they did that with the Kingpin, I was like, yeah, okay, he's more than likely still alive, right? Plus, why would you... You know, I cannot imagine Kevin Feige convincing Vincent D'Onofrio to come back for this role, making everyone really happy, and then killing him off. That probably is not what happened, right? So I'm not too worried. But also, it's like we are getting an Echo show, and I have to imagine that this is, you know, this situation is not over. I know I've seen people on Twitter bring up that, oh, there's a story arc in the comics where Kingpin, I guess, goes blind for a while because he was shot in the face. I'm not sure how that works exactly. I'm not sure how you get shot in the face and then only go blind, but not, you know, not permanently or something. Okay, but hey, he got hit by a car and then he walked away, so... You know, whatever. I guess he's the Kingpin, right? And that's what I mean. Is he actually a mutant? Does he have a super soldier serum? I'm not sure what his deal is, but he's crazy durable. So he's fine. That's my thing, is he's fine. And yeah, basically, let's see, Kate's mom gets arrested. A bunch of the tracksuit guys get, messed up by the trick arrows. Echo, I guess, just goes away after she shoots the Kingpin. Yelena and Clint make peace, and then she's not really seen from after that. Jack, he gets out of jail really soon, and he wants to confront Kate's mom, because she framed him. And he ends up basically, like, when they're evacuating everyone, because the tracksuit guys are attacking the building, when they're evacuating everyone, Jack helps everyone escape by just taking out a bunch of tracksuit guys with his sword. And that's pretty much all his character. We still don't know the extent of his involvement with everything with the Kingpin, and we know his uncle was a criminal of some sort that the Kingpin wanted removed, but we don't know, like, what else his deal was, and so that's another kind of lingering, like, okay, I like Jack as a character, right? Like, he's just always smiling, and he's, he seemed really suspicious at first, but now I think he's just kind of a goofball, I think, but what is his deal? How involved is he? Like, did he know what Kate's mom was up to, or was this all a surprise to him? It's very unclear. So, another thing that the show kind of just leaves kind of a mystery. And let's see. And then, yeah, the LARPers are there for a minute. The LARPers kind of help out. The LARPers do this thing where they change into costume. They change into their LARPing costumes. I feel like it was a joke that I didn't quite understand, because, like, no one was listening to them when they were trying to, like, get everyone to evacuate the building. And then they changed into their LARPing outfits, and suddenly everyone listened to them. So I don't know if the joke is supposed to be that, like, oh, they look like Avengers now or something. I don't know. I don't quite get what the joke was. But they changed into their costumes, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. And then, yeah, basically Kate goes with Clint to finally to meet his family for Christmas breakfast or dinner, I guess. And yeah, he made it on time for Christmas. One more thing before we get out of here. Spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, which, hopefully you've seen by now. Go watch that movie, please. At the very end of the movie, we see Spider-Man in his brand new costume, very comic accurate costume. We see him swinging through New York, and he actually swings by, I think it's Rockefeller Plaza, where this same building and this same tree is in this episode. And it's actually the exact same tree that Hawkeye gets caught in, and then in order to get him out of the tree, Kate just dissolves part of the tree and the tree falls down. Spider-Man swings by that exact same tree at the end of the movie. So, I was like, okay, he's probably not going to show up, but I think a lot of people were hoping that, like, maybe as like a little Easter egg thing, you'll see him like swing by in the background real quick or something. I don't know, but I think it's clear now, I think especially because they knock the tree down, that the Spider-Man swing happens before this episode happens. But yeah, very similar times of year, exact same location. I thought that was just a cool connection to have. So hey, I'm not gonna get greedy. That's a lot to ask for Spider-Man to show up in the background also. But I thought it was cool. Anyways, so yeah, just I don't know if there's going to be a season 2 of Hawkeye. I don't know if they've announced that. I know there's supposed to be the Echo show, and I'm sure that's where a lot of the Kingpin type stuff is going to get picked up, I guess, because he's definitely not dead. It would seem very strange to kill him off like that, so I'm confident enough that he's alive to be like, okay, so I guess they'll continue that in the Echo TV show. So I guess my only thing is that, like, I don't know if this show did enough to justify an Echo TV show, because it's like, did they make you care enough about an Echo TV show? Because what I came out of this wanting is a Kate and Yelena TV show. That's what I want, because their dynamic was amazing. Echo she didn't have much of a personality, to be honest. She was very much like the tough stern person, you know. She needed to be paired up with someone who has more of a personality to kind of play off of that, and she didn't really have that in this show. So I don't know, I guess we'll see, you know. Maybe the Echo show will end up being something entirely different and we don't quite understand yet. But for right now, the idea of like that character, I don't know. I mean, there's several characters in this show that I would rather have show than Echo, but all right, okay, whatever. But yeah, there are just a couple of lingering questions that, you know, reportedly a lot of Kingpin stuff was cut out. He was going to be introduced earlier, which, you know, my criticisms of the show overall is that, you know, I think the Kingpin definitely should have been introduced earlier, and they should have, you know, we needed more details as to like, okay, but specifically what was Kate's mom up to? What does Jack know? How involved is he in this whole operation? What's up with Kazi? Are we supposed to care about this character more? Are there like a bunch of scenes that they cut out? Did he grow up knowing Maya? Like, you know, like it seems like there was a lot that they cut down for the sake of this only being 6 episodes. You know, maybe this was supposed to actually be 8 episodes. I don't know. But I guess at the end, you know, the job of this show is to introduce Kate and to kind of resolve the whole Yelena going after Clint thing, I think. So, you know, it did that job good enough. You know, I would say, because I did walk away with this show saying, I like Kate. I like where Yelena ended up. I'd rather have them two do a show than this Echo character, because I feel like they gave her a good background, but like we only got one scene between her and Kingpin, and so having like this big showdown where she shoots him, it didn't really feel like anything, you know. It felt like we just got this Kingpin, and we were just like only a couple episodes ago introduced to this relationship that they supposedly have, you know, where now she wants revenge. It didn't feel like there was enough of a build up there. So, you know, this one episode being an hour long was great, but it feels like a lot of the other episodes should have also been an hour long. So I don't know. I think where I'm leaving this is that Kate and Clint both have a great relationship. Yelena is awesome. There were a lot of awesome moments, especially the action, I think, was really great in this show. But yeah, some of the plot lines felt like they didn't end up going much of anywhere. We still have a lot of questions. So yeah, I'm okay with this. I think I end up liking this more than Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think I like this more than even What If. What If had some great moments, but I think overall it was more disappointing. So this is not, you know, in the top 3 of the Marvel shows so far, but it's also not bad. So anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.